our guest. Myriel was born and raised in French St. Martin. Her interest in spirituality, metaphysics, and the esoteric sciences started at the age of 13. After seeing a movie about the life of Jesus shown in the French Quarter Methodist Church, she went on to earn the bachelor's degree in second language education issued by the Académie de Bordeaux, France. Myriel taught French and English in Guadeloupe and France. During that time, she developed an original holistic second language program called Around the World with Myriel. It is fun learning game designed to help learners integrate the target language. Stimu- Stimulously, it blows away limiting beliefs about the self. Learners are thus prompted to ask the key questions: Who am I? And discover the golden answer: I am I. Over the years, she earned a degree in EHV, Education in Human Values, from the British Institute of Satya Education, England. Myriel is also certified Kundalini yoga teacher and a Reiki master. After her return to St. Martin, she resigned from the national education system and set up a first holistic language lab in Marigot. Myriel has developed recently another unique program called Riva, out of the desire to help create a safe space for those awakening humans who have chosen to travel the path of consciousness, awareness, and expansion, which will lead them in due course to self realization. She considers this to be one of her greatest joys, her focus in the now moment. It is great that her two unique programs out of the world on a larger scale. Welcome very much, well, Rita, because I was referring to you as Rita. So welcome to the Rotary Club of St. Martin Sunrise. The floor is all yours.
Thank you. Greetings, you beautiful people. And thank you again for inviting me. So we are here tonight to further integrate this thing called consciousness. But before, so I can get a feeling, can I oh yes, everybody is mute. Okay. We'll get there with the questions and answers. So, consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is awareness. And I have listened to a conversation and many conversations concerning, I prefer to say, the coronavirus. Corona means royal in Spanish. So this virus presents itself as a royal virus. And it is a wonderful introduction for us to understand what consciousness is all about. We have just left an era where thought and thinking caused us to believe in a great lie. And that great lie is that we are the body. "2,000 years ago, a great one came to this planet. And that great one came to help us to understand, came to the West, because that great one came to plant the seed from a tree that had been planted in the East And that tree in the east had started bearing fruit. So that great one came to plant that seed in the West 2,000 years ago, to help Westerners understand that they were not really the body which is limiting. So that great one was misunderstood. So I'm going to digress a little to share with you one of the stories that have been told about our existence. Okay, so long time ago, there was nothingness, the void, darkness. That nothingness, that darkness, wanted to become aware of its existence. The desire, that strong desire to become aware of its existence, arose what is known as passion. And that passion created something else that is called energy. And that energy is the divine substance that is at the basis of all creation. All visible form is a form of energy. So with that, out of that desire to become aware of itself, to become conscious of itself, created the most essential question that each human should ask himself and should definitely find the answer. And that question is, and I'm saying is, yes, up to now, that same question is asked by many. Who am I? If that exists, because before there was nothing, there was nothingness, there was darkness. So now, if that exists, what is that and who am I? And unless each individual finds the answer to that question, we would be attracting many viruses, because these are opportunities that are given to humans to raise their consciousness. So that great one that came 2,000 years ago came to help us to become aware of the new world that is in the making. 2,000 years ago, we knew that this old world, based on a lie that we are the body, will come to an end and the new world will be created. In 2007, a few people became aware of that, noticed that the new world was ushered in. Only a few. In 2012, a few more became aware of this new world. In 2015, a few more became aware that something was happening. There was a shift. They began feeling the shift. It took 2020 for the whole world to become aware, to become conscious of the shift. Even though a lot of people still don't understand what's going on, everyone knows that something has happened. something is happening. There's something. And we can feel from deep inside that we would never be able to go back to life as it was before the coronavirus. That style of living is over. There is a new normal. And that new normal is there to boost our creativity, create new things, become conscious of who we are, and move on to that golden world. They call it in another sacred book, the New Jerusalem. But a lot of us still believe that it's a story, and that story would stay in that sacred book. But in all of the sacred books, the story has been told in different ways to go with the culture of the different countries. But it's the same story. There's going to come a time where we would move into that golden world, the New Jerusalem, where life would be as it was created to be in the first place. Coronavirus was a necessity for people to awaken to consciousness. Consciousness is what we are. That consciousness would help us to understand that we have a body. And it's also going to help us to have a new relationship with the body. The body would no longer be considered as a thing that we dress up to seduce the other gender, whether it's man or woman or whatever. We dress it up just for the sake of dressing it up. That consciousness, as we expand our consciousness, we would understand that the body is a tool, a very important tool. It is the most sophisticated computer, more sophisticated than the most sophisticated Mac. And it comes with its antivirus. But we do not know, we have forgotten what this tool that we have created is and what it can do. So with this virus, it is going to help us to become aware of the fact that we have an antivirus that is called the immune system. And once you boost your immune system, and what is quite ironical, because they came up with a vaccine very quickly in a very short period of time, and that vaccine fools the immune system, makes the immune system do what it has to do, what it was created to do. So why don't we just become aware, become conscious of this beautiful, magnificent tool, learn more about it. Whatever we do now is to sustain it, activate our immune system. And I'm going to digress just a little bit to give, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not any one of these, professions, but a lot of us, we forget what the immune system is, what it's all about. Okay, it starts with your tonsils. If you keep your tonsils clean and healthy, that's the first barrier for the virus and the germs and the bacteria when they start entering the body. If the tonsils fail, then we have the thymus, and in the Indian philosophy, it is considered as the higher heart. And all it takes every day to activate the thymus is with the 4 fingers, you tap on it for a few seconds, like 20 seconds, the thymus. If these soldiers are not able to defend us, then we go to the spleen. On the left side, under the rib cage, we go to the spleen. And we can activate the spleen also by tapping on it only a few seconds every day. If the body is still not, your immune system is still not strong enough, we still have the glands, the bone marrow. If we keep these parts of the body activated, our body was designed to fight any virus, including the coronavirus. And I'm not here saying don't take the vaccine and don't follow the protocol. I do it. I put the mask, I wash the hands, I do everything. Because when we do that, we are not only protecting ourselves, but we are protecting other people. Because if your immune system is strong, you could be carrying the virus because the virus is not going to bother you because your immune system is strong. But somebody else, you might transmit it to somebody else whose immune system is not that strong. So now let us just meld with each other by taking a good deep breath, a good, sweet, deep, conscious breath to help us to integrate even more what this consciousness thing is all about. And that is to introduce the other most powerful tool and medication that is called the breath. In the old world, the breath was known only to bring oxygen to the body. And the body was put on automatic for the breath because most of us would be dead by now because we don't breathe consciously. So I'm so happy that we have the breath is on automatic. In the new world, the most important tool is the breath. And it's not about bringing in oxygen. Of course, we are going to need oxygen. But we have reached now in that part of our civilization, in this thing that is called the new world, where we are becoming more and more conscious of what and who we are. We are consciousness, pure consciousness, in a thing called the body. So we are now at the time of this moment in our civilization, we are bringing in our real body, which is the light body. Some people call it the light body, and other people call it our free energy body. And a lot of scientists, they haven't even yet understand what this new energy is all about. And guess what? It's free. It has nothing to do with electricity and petrol and that kind of stuff. No. Now is the time for the new energy. And that is bringing consciousness with energy, that divine substance, and wisdom. In the new world, the motivating force was love. In the new world, the force now is wisdom. It is the wisdom that would get us through our everyday living. When we bring consciousness, energy, and wisdom, then we start understanding or hearing the answer to that essential question, who am I? And the golden answer is I am that I am, here, now, and beyond. So if you ask a bird, what is its purpose? The level of consciousness of a bird is to allow it to become aware of the fact that it was created to fly. And I feed birds because I love birds. And a bird has never told me that it went to university to learn to fly. It just flies. The fish, the purpose of the fish is to swim. The purpose of the tree is to grow. What is the purpose of the human being? The purpose of the human being is to become conscious of its consciousness of being. And that would lead the human being to understand that its purpose is to be joyful and free as it was created to be. The human being, joyful and free as we, the humans, were created to be. So, one point I would like for you to take away this evening: the difference between thoughts and consciousness. In the old world, the leader was called mind. Its technology was thinking. And its helpers were called thoughts. And these thoughts are limiting, misleading. They enslave us because they come from the outside, and they maintain us in the matrix. And in the new world, the leader of the new world is consciousness. And its technology is feeling. We have forgotten how to feel. All we do is think. We think, we think, we think. And everyone knows today that it's the last area of the mind because it's going to be replaced by artificial intelligence. So the mind doesn't really serve a purpose anymore. And we have forgotten the most important thing, our technology, feeling. So let us feel into who we really are by taking a last deep breath, because that feeling comes from inside of us. Don't think, feel. So let us take another deep breath. And that sweet, deep breath has nothing to do with meditating or praying. These are tools we used to use in the old world. In the new world, we connect with the feeling. And when you connect with that feeling, you feel that master within. And you will always be in the right place at the right time to interact with the right persons to do the right thing. Now, if you have a few questions, I will do my best to find a few answers to match them. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much, Myriel. That was really deep. It was a lot. The floor is open to any questions. You can raise your hand or just unmute yourself.
Okay, so then I'm going to, maybe just to kick off a little discussion, I'm going to ask anyone, can you see this thing that I'm holding? Whoever wants to answer can unmute, yeah?
Yeah.
So what is it? And you shouldn't, but no, you shouldn't answer. What about David?
It's a pen.
It's a pen. Are you sure?
A red pen.
Okay. And what is this?
Look like piece of paper.
No, it's
A rubber eraser.
Yeah, okay. So you didn't answer my question. You answered a question. You answered to a question that could have sounded like this. What is the form of this? What's the form? I am showing you a form, a visible form.
A form?
Yes, it's a form. So I'm going to ask David, before being a pen, because you said it was a pen, what was it?
An object.
And before being an object, what was it? Okay.
Body.
Excuse me?
A body or something. Matter.
And before being matter? Okay, Bernadette.
Energy.
Okay.
Energy.
Energy. And before being energy, Bernadette, it was?
Don't put me on the spot.
Consciousness. Consciousness. An awareness. And I'm gonna water it down. I'm gonna water down consciousness. It was an idea. Yeah. So each of these body that I'm saying, these were ideas in the mind, the higher mind of consciousness. Because if I take away the form, this pen would go back into nothingness, consciousness, an idea. And what I am sharing here with you tonight is very powerful. You change your life by changing your consciousness. So if you believe in lack, if you believe in pain, if you believe in struggle, that becomes part of your consciousness. And what you would reap is forms of pain, suffering, because that pain and suffering, that's an idea, would take on a form or an experience in your everyday life. Do you understand the difference between a thought and consciousness? And thoughts are nothing more than memories. Things that you have done, you have put them in your memory bank, and then they become thoughts, and they are limiting because you would be maybe afraid to take a risk because of a thought of something you did in the past that caused pain. Now, if you can understand that thoughts are things and you don't need to accept them because they're not even yours. Those thoughts came from the outside, from other people, school, culture, society, the whole world. And feeling comes from inside. So when you change your consciousness and you recognize, you become aware of the fact that I am that I am, and that can be whatever you want that to be. I choose joy and freedom. I am joy and freedom. So if I have a consciousness of joy and freedom, that essence, that unseen feeling, you can't see a feeling, you feel it. When you feel it, it would produce the appropriate form. Any questions?
So you're saying
I have a question.
Okay.
First of all, are you Rita?
Sit down.
Bernadette,
Yes.
Is that your sister who joined us in 2004? Or it's a different sister?
Cookie,
It's the same sister.
at least she's the one that caused us to have a healthy breakfast. Do you remember?
That's what I'm saying. Still the same principles. Huh?
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
my question is very good. Whatever you have done, I would say I will not count on making any percentage in the club, but it's a very high, super high thoughts that you have processed here, and it will take some time for us to digest. So the question is, the object you just showed, the writing instrument,
Mhm.
and you asked David the question what it is,
Mhm.
and he transformed it into a different variation to it. Bottom line, if a person asks you the same question, what will be your definitive answer to that?
Okay,
Like, I
if
would like to know the conclusion of your way of thoughts so I can put in perspective, like how I'm going to be thinking here on. So I just would like to know, what would you answer if this kind of question would have come in any other conference, and you being a superior to us in this matter, how would you answer it?
now, first of all, I am not superior to you because we are all consciousness.
Yes.
And then we
Okay.
expand our consciousness. And then, secondly, dependent on the context, because if I go to a store and I say, I would like to have energy, I would like to have an energy, excuse me, an energy. They might say, well, something is a little, So then I would say a pen. But in the context of our now moment, and I'm here to share with you what I have understood about consciousness and how I use it in my everyday life. As a matter of fact, with my students, because I do offer a program that is called Dolly, it's Rewire. So it's remember who you are, remember where you are, remember why you are here. So I talked about the first essential question, who you are. So in a setting like this, that's why I told Bernadette not to answer, because she would have said energy. As a matter of fact, she said it, energy. So I said no, because I know she knows. So in a setting where we have a special way of speaking, even sometimes I could say, yes, in a setting with people who are aware of consciousness, I can say, just for the fun of it, yes, I want energy in the form of a pen. Just because the more I integrate that everything is energy, it can really change my life. Like for money, I would say I want currency, energy in the form of currency, knowing that the currency will know which form it should take on. Should it take on the form of euros or dollars, etc.? So as a matter of fact, we play with that actually. We don't talk about money a lot. I mean, with the people who speak my language, because so much limitation and pain and conspiracies and all kind of things are linked to that word money. If I say, for example, Bijani, let's go to the moon. Bijani might look first at his bank account or his pocketbook, and then might say, oh, not this time, maybe next time, because Bijani might notice lack on his bank account or in the pocketbook. But now, if he connects right away that everything is energy, he might say, when? When? And guess what? Everything might be put in place so he could go to the moon. And then humans would say, and even Bajani would say, it's a miracle. And what is a miracle? When you don't understand things, it's a miracle. Do you understand the analogy? If he connects energy, it would take me energy to go to the moon, and energy is free and unlimited. It's free, and we are getting there now. And that's why, and I don't want to expand and take up more time, but that's why the coronavirus came in. The coronavirus came in to balance our economy. So we could raise our consciousness to that level that energy is free. Guess what? Even though it was difficult for a lot of people, businesses, and so forth and so forth and so forth. But a lot of people had never dreamed to have 4 and 6 months vacation at home and be paid for it. But did that happen? People are at home, they're not working, and they're paid? What does that mean? What does that mean? The money is there, what we call money is there, and we are reaching to that level of consciousness. That's why the most important thing right now on this planet is consciousness in the new world. And I have an idea, because you ask if anybody knows about, if anybody has an idea for a project. Yes, I have an idea. Raising consciousness through intuitive painting to help people to understand, even people who don't know how to hold a brush can paint the most beautiful painting image. So raising consciousness through intuitive painting. And it can be done inside in the COVID world or whatever. I mean, inside, outside, because the groups can be limited. And then at the end, after X amount of time, put all of the pieces together, and a way can be found to make like a tableau, and then auction off that tableau to raise money for the Rotary.
Nice project. That's a nice fundraiser.
And this is so easy. This is very easy. And what it would do, it would help people to reconnect with that inner self, that consciousness that they are, because they're not the body. And Easterners, they know that. People from the East, they know that they are not the body. And we from the West, we are now beginning to understand that. And for the whole world to awaken, coronavirus came in. There was another virus that came in a long time ago, and that was the sexual virus. And it came in under the form of what we called HIV, AIDS. We hardly hear anyone talking about AIDS anymore because our consciousness expanded in that domain. Now our consciousness is begging us to expand so we can reach to that next level of economic well-being for everyone on this planet. And when we reach that consciousness, coronavirus would just say bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Myriel. I'm going to open the floor again. Anybody for questions? Okay, thank you so much. That was very interesting.
Sorry, just a minute, Dolly.
Sure, of course.
Myriel, are you saying that the coronavirus made us, when you say conscious, are you saying that I mean, for me, it made me think a lot, and to think how I was treating myself in terms of health and what we could do in the community to make it, to make us think more about how we take care of ourselves. Is that what you mean in a conscious sense?
No, it's not exactly that, because you see how many times you use the word thinking? What I'm actually inviting you to do is to stop thinking. That is what caused us to be exactly where we are, and that is what caused the coronavirus to come in. Now, remember, just another analogy. We used to live, the old world was the head, thinking, the brain, okay? We used to think. The new world is the heart. So we have moved from this world, and we know it because artificial intelligence now is everything. So we have moved from the world of thought and the world of thinking. And now we are living in the heart, the world of feeling. So Claudie, it is to help you become aware of your body by feeling it. Claudie, when is the last time you recognized and felt that you have ears, except to put the earrings? When is the last time you remembered your elbows? Because if there are no elbows, we can't bend. So it's actually like when I have my students come to my yoga class, because I have this program with the Rewire where we still do just a few asanas, but mostly what we do now is the pranayama, because yoga has 8 branches. And when that great one came a few centuries ago, that was to help us to become aware of the body, to accept that we are in this material thing. And now I have accepted it, okay? We know, okay, now we need to feel it. And what helps us to feel the body is the breath. And what is that breath called? The breath of life. So we need, honestly, the Rotary maybe should do like this campaign of, yes, consciousness, a consciousness, an awareness campaign to help people to remember the only medication right now, the breath. And notice that that is the only function of the body that we can control. Pranayama in Sanskrit, pranayama means control of the breath. We can't control the heart. We can't control the digestive system, even though in yoga, I teach my students some postures to help us now reinforce the digestive system, because that might be the other one that might be attacked, because a virus might come in to bring us to the consciousness of this tool, very important tool, beautiful tool called the body. So you feel the body, you feel. And then you start loving yourself. So we can say also that consciousness is all about becoming aware of self. Self as consciousness, that idea in a physical body, knowing that this physical body is our tool, the breath is our medication. So Claudia, it's not about thinking. It's exactly understanding the difference between thinking and feeling. And if you take an animal, the animals have not lost their feeling sense because they have their intuition. So the feeling can be called also intuition. So the most important thing now is developing your intuition through feeling. So we should forget how to conjugate the verb to think, take that out of our vocabulary, and learn how to conjugate the verb to feel. So whenever you catch yourself saying, I think, stop. Go within and become in contact with how you feel. Because what you think is not even your thought. It was made up. that came to you from the matrix, from mass consciousness. Try it. Whenever you want to do something and say, I think, stop. Take a deep breath and observe how you feel. And that would be your guiding light to help you take the decision in your everyday life. That's why you see coronavirus came in to reveal the truth. This is the area that has just gone by is the Kali area, the Kali Yuga, the Yuga of confusion, of lie, of deceit, of dishonesty. And the new Yuga is the Satya Yuga. Has nothing to do with anyone who knows Satya Sai Baba. Satya is a name in India. A lot of people, they're called Satya. And Satya means truth. We have entered the age of truth. And this age is going to last much longer than the Kali Yuga, the age of confusion. And look around, what's happening? Every lie is revealed. Money cannot save you anymore. Your position cannot save you anymore because we are in the age of truth. And people, as we go on, as we develop that consciousness, we are going to be able to read the energies. And you come to me and you could present me something and you would appear like Jesus in a bottle. I mean, he's Jesus out of a bottle. We know he is good. And if we put him in a bottle, he's extra good. I would redetect and know if you're coming from a space of dishonesty. And everybody can do that now in the new world, because the new world is all about consciousness. And it's very easy. I have heard your question. The answer is breathe consciously. That's the answer. Breathe consciously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm happy to be here.
Good evening, everybody. I have a question. Myriel, can you explain to me the difference between the Ascension and Dream? Thank you.
Oh, the difference between dream and Marie-Christine.
Intention.
Oh, dream and intention. Yes, intention comes from the old world because it comes from a space of something that we know, that we take from our memory bank. And dream comes from breathing in the joy of existence and then discovering what is delivered. Isn't that beautiful? That's how the world was created. We didn't know anything about the trees and the fish and the birds, but the Creator breathed in. And when the Creator breathed out, that was the sixth day of creation, where the vision of the dragon came about, and the Creator can see its creation and found it was beautiful. So it's just like for Christmas, you know, you have a gift, but you don't know what's in the box, and that's what creates the excitement. Because even when we know what the gift is all about, why do we still put it in a box and wrap it up? Just for that feeling of joy, of ecstasy. And then when you open the box, that's the dream. Marie-Christine, are you there?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have you understood? Was I clear enough? Intention comes from the known, what you know, And dream comes from the unknown. So it is something that you would discover, and the essence of a dream is joy. It's easy. We just have to fill our consciousness with joy on an everyday level, every day, and that joy would take on a form or an experience. And that form and experience will create more joy and then more dreams, etc., etc.
Rita, I have a question now. You mentioned that the yug which we are the 4 yugs what we have and believe in Hinduism. Currently, we are still in Kali Yuga, I believe, which is going to be ending in 2025.
Well, you know, it depends with that kind of material thing. We entered this new era from 2007.
You mean the Satyug?
The Satya Yuga from 2007. Yeah. Okay, the
from
Satya
2007.
Yuga, which is the yoga of truth. But only a small group of people were aware of this shift. And it had to take something like this pandemic to propel people, honestly, like push a lot more humans. We reached that critical mass in 2020. But things are gonna be better, you know, not next year, maybe not 2 years from now, but we are moving to that golden age where a lot of people are going to be
that's the reason. If I'm looking at, I've heard this kind of talks before, and I'm looking at timeline, and there has to be some kind of a jerk to end up this Kali Yuga, and that's why Corona has come in to do that job, and which might take a couple of years. So I believed when that other person was talking about it, that we're going to end up in 2025 and a fresh beginning of Satyug will start, which will last for 4,800 divine years, which is quite a long time. So hopefully after 2025, things will change in the whole world, like how you mentioned about money going to be not that importance in those years. I believe that will come one day. That will come, which was years ago. We never had money, so it'll be back to the same situation again.
And guess what? Guess what? What I am inviting you to do is to live in the now moment, because actually there's no past, there's no future. The only moment, the only reality is the now moment. And why we are so caught up with all of this linear way of thinking, even saying 2007, 2012, and no, because that was how we used to function in the old world. It was linear, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C. Not anymore. Now it's Z, B, 2, because it's multi-dimensional. You see, consciousness expands. So you can be in all of these places at the same time. But before, it was vibrational. So we have to raise the vibration, not anymore. So I would invite you, Bidani, to just be in the moment, live in the now moment, because you don't know where you're going to be tomorrow. So guess what? Live right now, 200 kilometers per hour. Live in the now moment. That's the secret, to be in the now moment, because that's the only reality. When we go to the past, guess what? We live regret and sorrow and pain. And if we go to the future, we experience anxiety. So now is the time for us to leave the duality. Remember, with the energy, when energy came in, it created this duality. Everybody knows about the yin and the yang, black and white. That was duality, but it was necessary for us to become conscious of ourselves. Now that we are conscious, we don't need that duality anymore. We go beyond the brain, beyond duality, and now we're into multi-dimensionality. Everything is happening at the same time in the here and now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know we can go on talking about this for hours. I mean, but it is 8:30. I would like to thank you, Myriel, Rita, for this wonderful, wonderful talk. It was a lot of information, but it was very, very interesting. On behalf of all the Sunrisers and the Rotary, I would like to thank you for this eye-opening conversation.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very, very much again.
Okay.
At this point, I am going to go into our